FHA Streamline Refinances in 2024. What's up, everybody? It's Jeff Trevarth and Jeff the Mortgage Pro. Hey, man, we got some good ideas for you on this particular show today. We're going to be talking about FHA Streamline Refinances. This is one of my favorite loans to do. Number one, because you're helping borrowers that needed to get an FHA loan to begin with. So something was not perfect in their profile. I love FHA loans. It helps a lot of people get in their first homes with lower down payments or lower credit scores, and it helps a lot of people be able to buy houses. So this is my favorite loan to do because you've already qualified for that FHA loan. You can actually qualify for this FHA Streamline as long as you meet a certain couple of guidelines here. So let's go through the different things that we have to help you with determining if you can qualify for an FHA Streamline Refinance. So first of all, there's two different types. There's what we call credit qualifying. So if you're going to add or remove a borrower, or your credit profile is improved drastically, then this is probably something you want to do, and this could definitely increase your savings. So that's called a credit qualifying FHA Streamline Refinance. So you're going to need a little bit more documentation if we go that route, but most people are going to end up with a non-credit qualifying FHA Streamline Refinance. This is the most common version of this, and it has a lot less requirements in order to be able to do these types of loans. Okay, so here's what you need for eligibility. First of all, you already have to have an FHA loan. So hopefully that is kind of a given, and you kind of understand that you have to have an FHA loan to begin with in order to do an FHA Streamline Refinance. You can't just do an FHA loan if you have a conventional loan. You have to have a FHA loan to begin with. Okay. Second thing is you plan to use the FHA Streamline Refinance to refinance the FHA backed home loan. So if you have a different property, if you have a second property with a different type of a loan, you can have that. It's totally fine. But as long as you're just going to use this FHA Streamline Refinance for this particular property, and hopefully that's kind of a given too. You're going to be living there in that property anyway, right? The third thing is you can prove that you live in the home covered by the loan. So homes that are purely an investment are definitely not eligible. So let's say you bought a fourplex with an FHA loan and you live in one of the units. This is still considered a owner-occupied property. You live in one of the units of a multifamily property. So you could do an FHA Streamline Refinance to lower your payment or lower your interest rate on this. But if you bought an investment property and then you decided to move out a year or two later and you don't live in the property, but that property still has an FHA loan, you can't do an FHA Streamline Refinance. So you have to be living in the property that you are going to be doing this loan on. Okay. The FHA loan must be current. That's the fourth thing. So you can't have any late payments or any forbearances on the property. So make sure that you have all those boxes checked right there to make sure that you make your payments on time. Okay. Your loan has to be at least 210 days old. That means you need to make at least 6 monthly payments. And then after the 7th, you can figure out, you're eligible for an FHA Streamline Refinance. So typically we want to try to reduce the interest rate. That's what we're trying to do with a FHA Streamline Refinance loan. And this has to result in what's called a net tangible benefit for the borrower. And so that can vary based on the type of the loan being refinanced and the interest rate or the term of the new loan. So for example, a benefit, maybe you're converting it from a FHA ARM loan to a shorter fixed loan, like a 15-year fixed loan, or you're going to a 15-year fixed loan to a 30-year fixed loan. Those things are going to benefit you because it's going to lower your payment. So those things can be considered when we're talking about a net tangible benefit. Typically, the rule of thumb is that we want to try to reduce your interest rate by about 0.5%. If we can get it down more, then all the better for you guys to be able to do this, okay? So FHA Streamline Refinance needs to have a net tangible benefit to the borrower, okay? That's you guys. And then lastly, the cash in excess of $500 may not be taken out of the mortgages refinanced using the Streamline Refinance process. So this is something that we need to really dial in the numbers for on our end. It's not something you need to worry about. So whenever you do a refinance, there's usually a little bit of overage or underage. Either you got to bring in a little bit of money, or you got to finance a little bit of money to bring it in, and you get a little bit of cash back. And conventional loans, it's usually up to around $2,000 when you're doing a rate and term refinance. But on an FHA Streamline, we have to dial the numbers even closer, so you can only get a maximum of $500 back at closing. So that's not something that you need to worry about. That's something as us as lenders will make sure that we fit within those guidelines to be able to do that. Okay. So, all right, those are the guidelines for an FHA Streamline Refinance. If you think you have one of those loans, if you have an FHA loan right now and you can benefit from a lower interest rate and a lower payment, definitely reach out to me for that. So let's go over some of the benefits of the FHA Streamline Refinance and why you might want to do this type of a loan. So it's very limited paperwork. mean, literally, we need a loan application, a current mortgage statement showing that you have 6 months of payment history. You need 2 months of bank statements showing that you can cover any out-of-pocket expenses that we need to have in this particular transaction, and then maybe even a utility bill showing your home as your primary residence. Like, that's literally it. If you can think about the last time you did a loan, or when you actually got your first FHA loan, I'm sure it was a lot more paperwork than that. So this is very limited in terms of what you would need for this. So it's a benefit for you to be able to do this because it's a very limited paperwork to be able to get this thing done. You don't need any income, employment, or credit verification required. So there's significantly less paperwork just right there. We don't have to document any of that stuff. Lower interest rates compared to the conventional loans. So typically FHA, since it's insured by the government, that means if you default on an FHA loan, the government will reimburse the lender up to a certain extent. So what ends up happening was their FHA is able to lower their interest rates down below what conventional typically is. So you're actually able to get a lower interest rate on this one than you are a conventional loan. So it's even lower when you're doing a streamline refinance from the original loan that you have, because we're trying to lower that interest rate. That's the whole idea behind this, right? And then lastly, not lastly, but lower PMI. So that changed in February of 2023, where it went from like 0.7 or 1%, something like that, for your monthly PMI down to 0.5%. So that's a significantly less number to pay every month in terms of mortgage insurance. So you could benefit just by a lower increase, or a lower amount of mortgage insurance every month. And FHA Streamline Refinance can help you out with that. An appraisal is definitely not required in this instance. It has very low closing costs. Lender credit usually will help you cover most of the expenses that we can. You may have to pay some out-of-pocket expenses when we're doing an FHA Streamline Refinance. Things like your escrow account for taxes and insurance. Probably need to put that into, you probably have to have enough cash to be able to set up a new escrow account for you. And then just remember, when this transaction closes, whatever's in your existing escrow account gets refunded to you after closing. So there's a benefit for you in that sense. And then lastly, a lower credit score won't disqualify you. So what I love about this loan is that we're able to do this even without the income checks, without any verification, because it's assumed that if you've already qualified for an FHA loan and you could benefit from a lower monthly payment, then we're going to be able to do that for you without a lot of other verification, because you've already qualified for an FHA loan to begin with. Okay, so huge opportunity for this. I think that in 2022 and 2023, interest rates have obviously been elevated. And I think looking into 2024, this is going to be a really good benefit, as interest rates, I believe, are going to start to come down. So if that's something that you need help with, if you have an FHA loan right now and you want somebody to help you with this FHA Streamline Refinance, reach out to me. I've got a lot of great programs and I'm happy to help you out. I'm going to put my calendar link down below, and then we can schedule a time to talk and let's do it for you. Okay. If you guys have any questions at all, make sure you reach out to me anyway. I'd love to hear any comments or feedback that you have on my videos. And thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.